Happy Halloween, witches! Hello, I'm Ninja Greg, and you're watching The Ninja Greg Show. And I'm closing out this month with a review of the 2016 version of Ghostbusters. I know how divisive this movie is. On the one hand, you've got the die-hard Ghostbusters fans who say it's disrespectful to the franchise and that it ruined their childhood. On the other hand, you've got the people who actually like the movie and say that if you hate it, then you only hate it because it's an all-woman team and that makes you a misogynist. Where do I stand? Well, I'm right in the middle. I thought it was alright. Not as good as the first one, but not awful. For the people who honestly feel that this movie ruined their childhood, first, go back to move in with your mom's house because that's probably where you belong because that's who you spent your childhood with. And besides, you can always go back to these movies. You have them available to you at any time. This movie does not make... The existence of this movie doesn't make these two disappear. My only regret with this movie is I wanted to see it in theaters partially because there was a limited time re-release of Ecto Cooler while the movie was in theaters and it totally passed me by. Ecto Cooler! You've eluded me again! And if I had seen this in theaters, this review definitely would have come out sooner, but now I get to do it for Halloween, and that's what I'm going to close the month out with. And yeah, technically I know Halloween is next week, but it's early next week, and I always try to shoot for midweek, and if not that, then a weekend, an early weekend release of my videos. So by the time my next review is ready to go, Halloween will be over. So there's no point in doing another Halloween-related review when by the time I get it out, it'll probably be early November. If you have no idea what Ghostbusters is about, first of all, shame on you. Second, both this movie that I'm about to talk about and the original are about a team of scientists who work as paranormal investigators and eliminators. Somebody calls them up with a ghost haunting, they go and catch the ghost. Face plenty of naysayers and skepticism along the way until everything comes to a head when they have to deal with some big powerful baddie that wants to release ghosts all over the world and basically unleash hell on Earth. First of all, I like this women team. I mean, yeah, you could argue they're basically women versions of these guys, which, of course, that's what they are because they're, you know, an all-women's team of Ghostbusters. I mean, you've got Abby Yates as the fanatic, you've got Aaron Gilbert as the rational one, and you've got Julian Holtzman as the engineer and the tech specialist, and Patty as the black one. I don't mean to sound racist, but I'll touch more on that in a little bit. But despite that, they feel like their own characters. I mean, it starts off Aaron Gilbert, Kristen Wiig's character, and Abby Yates, Melissa McCarthy's character. There was kind of a schism in between them because, you know, Aaron had written this book about ghosts, but over the time, what kind of her belief in ghosts kind of lessened, but Abby never lost faith, as it were. And after their first initial haunting, Aaron's faith and belief in ghosts is restored, and they, of course, decide to, you know, to pursue this full-time and devote their lives to investigating the paranormal. And that's actually how the original Ghostbusters started. They don't really. I mean, yeah, Bill Murray as Peter Venkman. He is interested in the paranormal right from the get go, but he's not all full time. Well, he's not fully invested into it until after their first initial haunting. It's just the original happens at a library. This one happens at quite literally a haunted house. So yeah, same sort of thing, just a different take. And that's kind of a healthy way to look at this movie. It's a different take. Okay, now getting back to what I said about Winston and Patty being the essential token black characters of the group. While Patty is definitely an outsider and can't really contribute on the science end of it, she does contribute in her own way. I mean, she knows New York City backwards and forwards, and she even gets the team their car that will eventually become Ecto-1, and it does. Whereas Winston was an outsider, a guy who applied for a job and just got the job, obviously, but while he does keep the team grounded and does provide strong support and definitely carries his own weight, I just didn't feel he was too fleshed out. I like Winston, helped in no small part thanks to Ernie Hudson playing him. Good job. But I'm sorry, I just don't have there isn't a whole lot to go on with Winston's character, I didn't think. So I like the characters. I like how they're kind of reflections of the original team. And they all bring their own contributions to the table. And I know some people said that the effects look kind of lame and that the ghosts look kind of fake. I thought they looked all right. And of course, I like the cameos from the original team. And I liked all the different ways that they come up with for dispatching ghosts. I mean, yeah, we get the traditional proton pack and proton wand, but we also get like proton pistols, a proton shotgun, a proton glove for punching ghosts, and some kind of gadget that's a combination vacuum and wood chipper, except it, chips ghosts. So I thought all of that was pretty good. But now we have to tackle the negatives. And yeah, Chris Hemsworth's character as Kevin, the male secretary, is way too stupid to live, and the romance between him and Aaron kind of really goes nowhere. The comedy was hit and miss, although I did genuinely laugh at some parts, and it's certainly amusing, but it's not going to make you laugh super hard. And Rowan as the main villain was kind of weak, but admittedly unique. I mean, before we had Gozer, who was a demigod, and we had Vigo, who was an immortal whose spirit got trapped in a painting. Movies are weird. And now we've got Rowan, who's basically just an average schlub who's been dumped on his entire life and has come to the conclusion that humanity sucks and they just deserve to be wiped out entirely by his hand. So, yeah, not spectacular and probably not anything we haven't seen already, but kind of unique. And what I mean by that is his roots aren't really in the paranormal. Like I said, with the previous movies, you had a demigod and an immortal, and then it would go to average guy who becomes basically a demigod. And then there was the subplot about the mayor backing the Ghostbusters in private, but the very public skepticism and debunking of what the Ghostbusters do got real annoying real fast. And if you were to watch this movie on DVD, it's painfully obvious to tell that they were using 3D elements, because in each and every fight scene, while the fight scenes were certainly enjoyable and fun to watch, yeah, you could constantly see projectiles like coming out past the borders of the screen. And yeah, this movie was definitely, you can definitely tell that the 3D is there, even when you're not seeing it in 3D. So that's the new Ghostbusters for you. Would I recommend it? Well, only for open to the idea of a new take on a classic film, which happens all the time. But I wouldn't say this movie is a must-own by any means. While I certainly enjoyed it alright, I'd say probably wait till the price comes down a little bit. And if you see it on sale somewhere, I'd say, why not? It's harmless enough. But anyways, I'm Ninja Greg. You've been watching the Ninja Greg Show. I hope you have a fun and safe Halloween. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.